Welcome to IAS Market Talk, your trusted source for timely ag market insights, brought to you by Innovative Ag Services. Each week, we break down the latest beef market trends impacting Northeast Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, with expert updates tailored specifically for our IAS members. This week, you'll hear directly from Dave Rueber, IAS Beef Production Specialist, who brings decades of experience and deep knowledge of the cattle industry to these conversations. Dave has been providing market updates to producers for years, and now he's bringing those insights straight to you through this podcast. Tune in weekly for what you need to know straight from people you know. With that, here's Dave Rueber with the latest on what's happening in the cattle markets this week.
We've got the lingering effects of that second packing plant getting closed out in Pennsylvania. We got, our president putting things in there. The supermarket's got to drop beef by 12%. All that kind of affects what is getting paid for beef out in the market. So that kind of comes into play. You got some large packers a little bit upset with the fact that there was a government program to help out the smaller packers, but kind of ignored the larger packers. So, a little bit of maybe some vindictive behavior and thoughts by some of those large packers going, hey, we've lost money the last couple of years too. So just a lot of stuff going on. Feels like we're going to be somewhere in the low 250s. I kind of like I said, no trade yet this week, but feeling a little bit lower than the 255 that we had. Today was an interesting day. Lots of stuff going on in the world scene with Iran. Looks like oil price is going to work back up again. We started out, that board was down hard on live cattle, down $3-4 at one time. Came back, it was only down 50 cents to $1. At the close, so regained a bunch of those losses. See what shakes. Not a tremendous amount of cattle, on the show list. Not totally burdensome or anything, but it just kind of got a little bit of a negative tone here for the first time in a while. These are still great prices. If I'd asked you 3-4 months ago what you were expecting to get for cattle, in July, you'd have been tickled to death with 250 cattle. Well, we went from 240 to 265, and suddenly now here we are paying record high prices for feeder cattle, record high break-evens on cattle sitting in yards. That'll go to town a while from now, but the cattle we're selling right now are in pretty good shape. So, I think you don't sell cattle 100 pounds light, but boy, you just kind of keep moving them through, especially with 100-degree heat indexes and wet conditions. These pens have kind of had a tough deal. Some of this hoof health's been a little rough too, so that kind of factors into it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Corn market continuing to work higher. We put 30 cents on this corn thing pretty quick. $4 corn became $4.30 corn. That bumps that cost of gain by a couple, 2-3 cents. It's going to be hard to get those cattle fed for under $1 now using today's corn prices. So steers, figure just a smidge above $1 for cost of gain. Heifers, $1.06, $1.07, $1.08. So yeah, just kind of some stuff out there that's, we haven't really had a lot of negative stuff thrown at us for a while, and we're kind of in that vein. Feeder cattle, boy, maybe a little bit softer in some places, but boy, they just keep hanging in there. There just aren't enough of them out there. Good 8-weight steer is going to still run you way north of 360. Break evens on these new cattle that we're buying in are, high 240s, some in the 250s, nowhere near hedgeable with where those deferred futures prices are at. But, we've said that for a while now. But so yeah, just kind of watch this thing. It's a little uneasiness right now. I mean, we're coming off a really good stretch the last 2-3 weeks. Normally they always historically said fair time was kind of your lows on the fat cattle prices. Hasn't been that way the last few years, but that's kind of the seasonal trend is to look at that. So yeah, enjoy kind of where we're at, keep moving stuff through, and we'll hopefully get some feeder cattle bought a little bit cheaper here down the road. Once again, my name is David Rueber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag. Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode of IAS Market Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an update. And if you know a fellow producer who could benefit from this information, share this episode with them. For more updates and insights, visit innovativeag.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll catch you next time on IAS Market Talk.
Are you ready for a hands-on role with purpose? Join the facility operations team at Innovative Ag Services, where we value hard work, safety, and community. With locations across Northeast and Central Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, we offer industry-leading benefits, on-the-job training, and a culture that supports your growth. From competitive pay to a uniform allowance, we invest in our team. Grow with IAS and discover your co-opportunity. Apply today at innovativeag.com.